Welcome in, everybody. It is officially week 9, which means it's time for our buy sells. We're going to talk about some trades, talk about some start sit decisions that you guys provide for us here in the chat. So we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. If you missed the live stream, just comment in. We'll come back and answer any and all questions we can. Be sure to jump over on the X, follow us on X at the FF Mediators. You can follow Tyler at tfarmer_34. How you doing, Tyler?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Man, we had a hot week after the National Tight End Day there, didn't we?
Yeah.
I had obviously I covered the tight ends here, and I got to make my video and get that out this morning. And I'm just going back through the performances, and we had so many good ones. I was really excited. I wish they would be like that every week.
Yeah, man, it's fun when we get the big fellas involved. It was a good week for running backs too. I mean, the top 5 running backs were all big names, so you love to see that. We had some surprise finishes. Isaiah Davis, Kareem Hunt finished in the top 24. RJ Harvey had a big touchdown week. So lots of people performing right now, and we're kind of hitting the point of midway through the season where we're trying to figure out if we can make the playoffs, pick up the right players to cover these bye weeks. We've got 4 more teams moving on to the byes this week, Tyler, with the Browns, the Bucks, the Eagles, and the Jets. So lots of fantasy relevant players there being moved to the bye. So it's time to answer some start sit questions. I see them rolling in the chat right now. We will jump to those in just 1 second. If you want to skip the line, you can throw us a super chat. We appreciate any and all everything. But that being said, if you like the stream, that helps us out a ton. So we appreciate any and all likes. Tyler, any final thoughts on week 8 before we start looking to week 9?
No, only thing I do want to bring up though is that trade deadline is coming up, so keep your head on the swivel. You mentioned Isaiah Davis. There's rumors going around about Brees. Maybe he will be traded. Maybe Isaiah Davis will be traded. People have talked about Kamara being traded. So just keep an eye out on guys that may be moved later this week ahead of the trade deadline. Trade deadline. Wow, words.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're approaching the deadline. It's a little bit later than it used to be. I remember when it used to be around like week 5, week 6. Now it's pushed off. So I do like that. Last year we had a little bit more of an active time. I'm not sure how active it's going to get this year. I don't expect Brees Hall to be moved, but if he did, man, that would be interesting because there's some running back needy teams out there. But let's get to our first questions here, Tyler. We've got Jonathan Santiago. He's a repeat here. So he says, would you trade Tracy for Addison, Tyler?
I think it depends on your team. Reading this originally, I was like, yes, I'm going to get Addison. That being said, Carson Wentz is injured, so J.J. McCarthy's coming back. We saw, how the year started with J.J. McCarthy. Wasn't the best, but also wasn't terrible. I would say he's probably played one good quarter of football, but we've seen the potential, right? So I would still go get Addison. Unless you were just a running back needy team, like say you had 2 guys that you were starting on, you're going to have a third guy at some point with buys coming up and this, that, and the other. So if you need a running back, keep Tracy. If you don't need him, go get Addison for me.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to put it. I mean, Tracy, I do think he's interesting going forward. I mean, we saw once Scottoville got injured, Tracy stepped in. He got a majority of the work. Devin Singletary, I think, had 10% of the snaps. Tracy had 63% of the snaps, 10 carries, 39 yards, added a couple catches. So Tracy's going to be the guy that I think gets the most opportunity and the most workload. This Giants offense has been a little bit surprising, to be honest. They're still finding a way to perform. I think losing Scat will hurt them, but Tracy's absolutely serviceable. So if you needed a running back, you at least have to have a hesitation. In a vacuum, give me Addison every single time. So if you're in here, Jonathan, absolutely you can throw your roster in here and we'll give you our thoughts. But I think we're both Addison in a vacuum there. But he does have a second question, Tyler, and says he was offered Devontae Smith and Travion Henderson for Sutton and Waddle. This trade it's kind of tough, man. Travion Henderson has been brutal. I saw a tweet, and I don't know if it was real or not, that the Patriots are in the market for a running back at the trade deadline.
I don't know. I saw that, and I was like, if they are, then woof.
Then what are we doing?
Tough.
Yeah, what are we doing? So Henderson's just brutal right now. He's so inconsistent. That entire running back room is inconsistent. You cannot play him. I mean, this past week he had 10 carries, which ordinarily is like, wow, he actually got some opportunity. He got some run. 5.5 points. So 75 yards. He's been really good with the ball in his hands. They're just not giving it to him at the goal line. They're not involving him in the pass game like they did in the first week. So he's just not really playable at this current moment.
Yeah, he's not. And I've got him on a redraft team, and I've flirted with dropping him time and time again. And just those rookie, tugs on the heartstrings. I keep like holding on to him now. That being said, Ramondre did pop up with a toe injury. I don't really believe he practiced yesterday, or today, I guess. I don't think he practiced today, so something to kind of monitor. But we have seen uh, Antonio Gibson get run ahead of Travion too. So who knows where this coaching staff is going to go? Obviously, Mike Vrabel has the Patriots firing on all cylinders. They're winning games. They're just not doing it the way we want to for fantasy. So.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, that's a great way to put it. Real life football is so different than fantasy football. And the worst part, too, for Travion is only 21% of the snaps. And he had 75 yards. I mean, when he's in there, he's kind of getting his opportunity, getting his run, but he's just not getting a bunch of snaps. And it's really, really frustrating. He did fumble again this week, so that's worth noting. First one of the year. Vrabel hasn't really punished any of the other guys, so hopefully he doesn't go out on him. But we carry on.
About to be my point right there.
Yeah,
they are fumbling machines, and
mm-hmm.
Vrabel's still yet to do anything about them. So,
and that's a long-winded answer to say Sutton and Wandale for me too. So
I would agree.
But let's carry on. Zach's in here. We appreciate you for being here, Zach. Thank you as always. SWL Bo, what's going on, my friend? Appreciate you
always
being here as well. Yeah. KJ Frederick says, what's up, guys? Better flex start, BTJ, Jacoby Myers, or Kayshon Boutte? I'm going to go BTJ. I'm going to trust the player, trust the process. I get it's not been great. The injury has been a little bit interesting there. I think it's maybe affected him some. But the Jags offense is kind of changing a little bit. I mean, we saw Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter get a little bit more of a connection this past week before the bye in week 7. So the opportunity is still there for Brian Thomas, 66% of the snaps, had 7 targets. So I'm going to continue to trust the better player, and that's Brian Thomas.
Yeah, I think if it was a better matchup now, obviously, so Boutte, that's who I was looking at. He plays Atlanta. That would be who I was between, is either Boutte or BTJ. If the Patriots weren't playing Atlanta and it was one of their next 4 games, that's Tampa Bay, the Jets, the Bengals, or the Giants, I would be all for starting Boutte. But just because of the matchup there against the Falcons, even though the Dolphins looked good last week, I will go ahead and I'll take BTJ as well. You just roll him out there. And then, you know what? If BTJ has another tough week, you start Boutte next week with a good matchup. So.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. I mean, Boutte's been good for fantasy, but he's been so dependent on those touchdowns. So if he's not scoring, he's really hurting your lineup. Whereas Brian Thomas has that guaranteed volume. I mean, his targets are still really, really good. He's just not catching the ball a ton, which he has had some drops. So part of that falls onto him. And then, not necessarily getting the yards. But it's worth noting prior to the week 7 game where he had 4.6 points and the Jags got literally destroyed by the Rams. He had 8 catches for 90 yards, 40 catches for 80 yards, 5 catches for 49 yards, 2 catches for 55 yards. So he's getting you some points, and I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to goose you. So I would go with BTJ. Yeah. Stephen Drakes, Tyler says, fellas, is now a good time to trade Gadsden, and is ETN a good trade target for him? Gadsden is – it's really tough, man, because he is rising in rankings, Tyler. I know we've talked a little bit about him. This is someone we talked about in the offseason during our rookie preview stuff for Dynasty. So if you're not checking that out, go ahead, because Gadsden I think he was in my top 6 tight ends as the rookies. He's a fantastic player, really good at Syracuse, and he's doing everything that we thought he could do in the NFL right now in this perfect landing spot. So, Tyler, I'll pose the question to you first. Would you be willing to trade Oronde Gadsden?
In redraft, I just might be. It's tough because when you get a good tight end, you're like, I really want to hold on to him at this point. Tight end 1, not last week, 2 weeks ago. Tight end 4 last week. Now he does play Tennessee this week. That's a tough matchup, primarily because Tennessee's offense is horrendous and they can't keep up with anybody. Now I do think Gadsden will probably be involved a little bit earlier, like he was last week, and you'll probably be okay. But if you go and you look, I wish I had the numbers actually pulled up as far as like strength of schedule for like tight ends. But like if you pull it up on Sleeper, he has 1 green matchup here, and that's in next week versus Pittsburgh, who is like second worst against tight ends currently. All the rest of them, I mean, he's got Jacksonville, that's middle of the pack. You've got Vegas, Philly, Kansas City, Dallas, Houston, and Denver to close out the season. So his playoff matchups, they get a little tough. Um, if you were trying to trade high, I would say now you probably get the max return, but you really kind of want to hold on to those. I'm going to call it an elite tight end. Definitely the performances have been elite. You want to kind of hold on to those when you get them. So
Yeah. For Gadsden, you mentioned it too. There, the tougher matchups over on Sleeper. I know what you're talking about with the playoff schedule, but just with the 4 or 5 teams you named off there,
mhm.
or excuse me, 7 or 8 teams that you named off there, 4 of them are inside of the top 10, and points allowed to the tight end, giving up the fewest. I mean, so that's really good for those teams, and that's a strength that they have. So that's going to be something Gadsden's going to have to overcome. Is he good enough to do that? That's the question. In my opinion, I think he is. I think he's proven a lot. I mean, he's demanding the volume. You mentioned this past week, 16 points on the week, 5 catches, 77 yards and a touchdown. The week before that, 9 targets, 7 catches, 164 yards. The week before that, 7 catches, 68 yards. So he's involved. And what we know about this Chargers offense is they're throwing the ball way more than we thought they would, coming into this offseason. Now, we talked a little bit about that prior to the offseason. I'm not going to say we predicted it, but my word, they're not running the ball. Now, there's been a lot of injuries to the running back. Amari Hampton's eventually going to come back. That's worth noting. Haskins is out. Kamani Vidal is kind of the guy right now that's controlling that backfield.
And Najee.
And Najee too. I completely forgot about Najee. We lost him so quick. I forgot he was even there. And then, they lost both left tackles. Now Joe Alt's back there, and my word, that dude's a stud. So it's something that I'm going to trust the Chargers offense. And personally, I would hold Gadsden. Like, I think I would want to keep him. I mean, you mentioned having that position flexibility, and I would just love to have him just slot in there. I mean, he's got the week 12 bye, but then he comes off the playoffs. He's going to play he's going to play the Raiders. Then he plays Philly towards the start of playoffs, Kansas City, Dallas, Houston. Those are games where they probably are going to have to score some points. So I'm all for having opportunities to get Gadsden out there and make some fantasy plays for my team. Now, if you were to move him, so let's say you're just deep at tight end, Tyler, would you be willing to move Gadsden for Travis Etienne?
If I needed running backs, maybe Etienne. He had a hot start to the year, but he's kind of fell off in recent weeks. He obviously had the bye last week, so we'll see what it looks like this coming week against Vegas. But I mean, you could probably do a little bit better, honestly. I'd probably aim a little higher if I'm trading Gadsden. Gadsden, like the name value versus what he's been giving you, like these past, we'll call it 3 weeks at this point. Like, I would say his name is really hot in trade circles right now. So he's probably going to be able to fetch a higher price than maybe you might think. Like, okay, prime example here. This is the first name that popped in my head. Would you go trade Gadsden for Derrick Henry?
Oh God, yeah. If I needed a running back, 100%.
See, that's my thing. Is like that Derrick Henry manager. He's probably frustrated. The Ravens are like 1-6. They're finally going to get Lamar back, which is going to help. But he may just be like, look, I need something. And it may be that you can get Henry and throw in some small running back just to give him somebody to start or something, and then get another piece. Like it just depends on the format of the trade. I wouldn't necessarily go Gadsden for ETN, but I do think ETN could be a trade target for you, down the stretch here.
And it kind of goes all back to that team makeup. Like, what do you need? If you've got 2 tight ends and you're dying for a running back right now, then absolutely. I mean, at this point, you're trying to buy wins, and you do what you have to do to, make the playoffs and give yourself a chance. So I would be okay with that. Or like Tyler said, maybe shoot for another higher name at the running back position if that's where you're looking. But Gadsden's value is insane right now. I think he's climbing well within the top 10 tight ends in Dynasty. Probably closer to the top 6 tight ends in Dynasty, to be honest. Like, if he continues to produce, he's going to be a big-time target going forward. And this is a guy that you were getting off waivers or in the 4th round of Dynasty leagues, waivers and redraft leagues. So, big-time ad, big-time fantasy producer. But let's carry on. Let's get to Justin Kyle here. Says, pick 2, Sharps, K9, Hunt, and Bam. I'm actually going to go with Kenneth Walker and Hunt here. I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a huge week. I've got him pretty high in my rankings. I talked about it in my running back video. Washington's been torched by good running backs who can make big plays in the open. Washington's defense has been struggling, and guess what? He plays Washington. So I think that he has a chance to make some big-time plays. If Kenneth Walker just can get some goal line opportunity, for the love of God, please. He'll be so much better. And then Kareem Hunt, man, I've been talking about he's my desperation flex all year. We saw Pacheco's injured. It looks like Kareem Hunt's probably going to have a bigger role. So I like Hunt there.
Yeah, I do too. I'm probably echoing the same thing you said. My only reservation with Hunt would be Brashard Smith. Now, he didn't have a lot of run this past week, I don't believe, but the week before he was pretty involved. I think he had like almost 20 carries or something, or like 20 touches.
He had 14 carries, 19 total touches this past week.
Yeah,
3 touches, only 13% of the snaps.
Yeah, and so I think that could have some room to work in, but I will say the Chiefs 100% trust Kareem Hunt through and through, especially on the goal line. So I'm probably with you there. K9 and Kareem Hunt, you're probably just looking for touchdowns from Hunt, but I think K9 will probably have a big week.
Yeah, I like it there. Let's get to Ethan's question here. Tyler says, should I start Travis Hunter or QJ? After QJ's wonderful start to the season where he was just absolutely on fire for the first 4 weeks, we've kind of resulted back. I mean, last week against Minnesota, he had 52% of the snaps, and him and I had the same amount of catches in that game. We also had the same amount of targets. So he gave you a big goose egg, so not good there. Whereas Travis Hunter is coming off 2 of his best games. I understand the Seattle game wasn't fantasy points, but he had 7 targets. So that's the involvement we want to see. This past week, 2 weeks ago when they played the Rams in London, 14 targets, 8 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. So I think I'm going to go with Travis Hunter. I think they have a plan to get him more involved, and I'm going to ride the lightning, man. I think it's going to happen.
I agree. I mean, it's hard. Like, yes, QJ had a great run to start the season, and I still believe he's capable of doing
100%.
so in certain games. It's not that he's just fully gone, right? But they have so many options in LA that they don't have to use them all. Like, if Keenan is still going to be involved and Ladd's still going to be involved, and now you got Gadsden coming on, somebody's got to go. And it just so happened to be QJ last week. It may turn around and be Keenan this week that doesn't do anything. But
Trey Harris scored too.
Trey Harris scored. So it's just they have so many options. I think it could get hairy real quick. Now, question for you, Matt. Do you think that QJ could get traded this coming week?
I mean, it would be interesting, but I think the Chargers are so hot right now. If anything, they're buyers. I don't think they're sellers. I think they're looking to get help. They're a good team. I know they've been a little inconsistent, which if you know anything about the Chargers, that's just literally the history of the Chargers. But that being said, I think they're going to be buyers, not sellers. QJ being moved, they could certainly get a piece that would help them somewhere else, but I think right now they're loving this Justin Herbert that they have, who's throwing it all over the dang place and still looking really good. I know he kind of dipped off for a little bit, but he's still got room to grow in this offense.
Yeah.
Tree Huggin.
Just a quick question.
Yeah, no, I like the question. Tree Huggin Hunter, Tyler says, is Mooney droppable? Rostered in 60% of leagues. Coming off a week where he played 90% of the snaps, had 4 targets with only 1 catch for 11 yards. Prior to that, his best week was 8 points. To be honest, I'm going to say you can drop him.
Yeah, I agree. Really and truthfully, this has been the fascinating point of the Falcons offense all year. If you go back and you look, the target consolidation is insane. Whenever Penix is on the field, he throws it to 3 guys. It's Bijan, Pitts, or Drake London. End of story. Now, yes, you had Kirk on the field last week, and he kind of spread the ball around a little bit more. They were also down Drake London, and Kyle Pitts had 9 targets and 9 catches last week. Yeah. So they're still going to go through their big 3 guys. Yes, Mooney may have a game or 2 here or like a boom bust game where he catches a bomb touchdown. Great, but I'm not worried about that. I would be willing to drop him.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. But, it's interesting to note that Mooney was good last year, and then this year he's been kind of a shell of himself from there. He's kind of revolted back to his old form. But I think you can move on. I think there's better options probably on your waivers. Someone that might be a little bit more reliable. So look elsewhere. But Tyler, before we carry on, we've got 29 in here watching. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Means a ton to us. If you could give us a like, that would help us out a bunch. We really do appreciate that. If you want to skip the line, throw a super chat. But the like is free and it helps us out. So we'll carry on and we'll answer every single one of these questions before we leave. So bear with us. Jonathan Ake says, need to start one running back this week. Concerning matchups, who would I go with? Kareem Hunt, assuming no Pacheco, Zach Charbonnet, Bam Knight, or Rico Dowdle? To be honest, man, this is brutal because I want to say Rico because they talked about with Canales how he wants to get him more involved. They thought they kind of lost their way a little bit with him this past week. I had him, I think, at running back 24. And when I did my running back video, obviously we've got news come in. The matchup is not good. He takes on the Green Bay Packers, so you do not love that matchup. Kareem Hunt is the only name here that I'm interested in. I know a lot of people are going to say start Bam. Personally, I don't trust Bam. I don't trust Zach Charbonnet. He's so inconsistent. He's scoring touchdowns, and he's still not doing great for your fantasy lineups. Whereas Kareem Hunt, even if he's not getting the snaps, Tyler, you mentioned earlier, it's something I've talked about a lot too. Kareem Hunt is a player that this team trusts at the goal line. So they give him the ball when it's crunch time. So he had 16 points, 18 points, 10 points. Those are weeks where he scored. So I'm going to ride the Lightning there if Pacheco's out, and I'll start him. If Pacheco plays, I'll go with Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And can we just talk about how the Cardinals philosophy on offense? They had Michael Carter. Michael Carter was going to be their starter and everything, and then turns around and now here's Bam Knight, and Michael Carter's been released and then signed back to the practice squad. It's just I'm not trusting anything out of that Cardinals backfield.
Yeah, Trey Benson hurt, Connor hurt. It's been all over the place. So I just don't trust the backfield either personally. And I don't trust the offense, frankly. But Jared Fortin, Tyler, says, hey guys, PPR redraft, drop Mason or Henderson for Tootin. Also Debo or DK rest of season PPR redraft. Let's start with the Mason or Henderson for Tootin, Tyler. Would you be willing to drop either of those guys to go get Bashal Tootin?
Oh, man. Well, luckily I have the Jags pulled up here. I mean, Tootin, yes, he's looked explosive at times, but he's buried behind Etienne at this point. I mean,
and they keep Quint Allen involved too.
Exactly. They just keep rotating guys in. When Tank was there, that Tank was more involved. So I think they like Tootin, but they don't want to just give him the work. So I would be very hesitant. I think Mason, he had a down game this past week. And then I think Trevion has the talent to win out. So I'm probably holding both of those guys over Tootin personally.
I would too. I mean, to be honest, either way, you're taking it what we'll at best call a handcuff. All three of them are handcuffs. And Mason is someone who we've already seen have the role. If something were to happen to Aaron Jones, then he steps in. Trayvon Henderson, same thing there. If something happens, he gets a bigger role. Tootin, I think he's a little bit limited, but we did get a super chat, so let's jump to that in a second here, Tyler. Okay. And we'll answer real quick, Debo or DK. I'm going to take DK rest of the season, although I do love Debo. And Jared, go ahead, Tyler.
I would go DK as well.
Yeah. I want to apologize, Jared. Jared sent us a couple questions on X right before the games kicked off. I was on a flight, so I couldn't answer them, and I'm so sorry. And I know the other guys were tied up too, so we will be better. But AEEV Saucedo, Tyler, sends super chat. Let's go see. Hey. Can you pull his question? Do you see it?
Yeah, let me go look.
Here it is.
Let's see.
The message. Okay, I got it. Says, all my running backs are on bye. Breece Hall, Rashad White, Bucky Irving, and I have CMC and his handcuff Brian Robinson Jr. Should I pick up someone or ride with Brian Robinson Jr. and CMC? Who do you have to drop would be my first question. Do you have anyone like second quarterback, a second tight end that you can drop? Otherwise, I'm holding all three of those running backs. I'm not dropping either of them to pick someone up. Brian Robinson Jr., Tyler, would you be willing to drop him and add someone? Like, let's say Tracy's out there. I would absolutely do that.
With this team construction, yes. Now, obviously, if it goes out there and CMC gets hurt, you're going to feel bad about it. But you still have Breece, you have the Bucks backfield, so you're at least going to have 2 running backs to start at some point this year.
Mhm.
If something was to happen to CMC, Brian Robinson is only there to ensure CMC for you. And so at this point, you don't want to bank on injuries. You're still trying to make the playoffs currently. So you take CMC, you drop Brian Robinson Jr. Like you said, if Tracy's there, I would consider Tracy. I know we just kind of said we didn't trust him, but like if you need a running back, like going to get Bam Knight or somebody just to throw in your lineup for a week just to get you some points.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
definitely
Kareem Hunt
look at
even.
it.
Like if Pacheco's out
Kareem
and
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt's out there, that's a pretty good bet to get you 10 points. And the other side is there's a good chance that if something does not happen to CMC, B-Rob will still be out there. So just pick him up next week and drop whoever you need. I mean, so I'm totally with you there, Tyler. I would be looking to get the players that can help me win right now, especially as we're making the playoff push. And I know it gets a little scary. Unless my team is projected to win by like 30, then I'm probably going to be thinking about dropping B-Rob to pick someone else or drop another, wide receiver or tight end or whatever you have that's a flexible piece.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I've got our spot here if you want to hop back up to where we were. DAC here says Stafford or Josh Allen, and he's playing against Puka. I know my answer to this, Matt. I'll let you answer it first. Are you taking Stafford against Puka?
No, I'm playing Josh Allen. I get the idea of, well, if Puka kills me, at least I'm going to get the points from Stafford. Totally understand it. But Stafford, he had 5 touchdowns in that that game in London 2 weeks ago, and he scored 27 points. Like, that's great. But Josh Allen is a guy that can score you 40 or 50. I mean, Josh Allen has a game this year where he scored 38. So give me Josh Allen.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly where I was going. I mean, you have a absolute freight train at quarterback in Josh Allen. You play Josh Allen unless he is hurt or it's the inclement weather and he's not going to be able to throw the ball, and you still might play him because he can run it that well.
Yes. So if Josh Allen is on the field, I'm playing him personally.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. We'll carry on here. So Will says, gents, hello. Last week was one of those weeks where I realized that I'm stuck in a toxic relationship with fantasy football. It's where it would never hit me again. And then boom. Will, I'm totally with you. Like each year I'm like, I'm not going to get that invested. And then by, here we are week 9, I'm texting Tyler and coach, like, how do I keep that trophy? Because I'm going to lose it. And I don't want to lose it. Like I am selling my soul. I traded for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz. Like I made a move because I needed something that bad. And it hurt, and I'm doing everything I can. So I get it. It's a toxic relationship, but when you win, man, there ain't nothing better.
And let's also, we'll throw the quote in there from the group chat of Matt said, "There is no way I'm giving either of you two this trophy." He said, "I will do whatever it takes, whatever it takes. I will do to not have to give it to me or coach." So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm trying my best.
Until I'm mathematically eliminated, I will make every dang move I have to beat you two. Like I will. And that goes for everyone else in the league too. I don't care. I'm going to win it. I'm going to find a way. Okay. Jonathan Santiago, Tyler, came back, said my roster, 3 wide receiver league, Mahomes at quarterback, wide receivers of St. Brown, Pickens, Sutton, Wandale, and Chimere Dike. The league counts return yards. That's fun. Running backs are Jacobs, Cook, Tracy, Mason, Sharps, Benson, and Gainwell. I can't remember. I don't think any of
trade. He was wanting to trade Tracy for Addison. That's what the thing was.
Right. Okay. I think I'm holding Tracy, man.
Yeah, with this, with the way that this running back room is set up, Tracy being your second best bet probably for the rest of the season. Yeah, I'm holding Tracy here. And you've also got, it's a 3 wide receiver league, yes, but you've got St. Brown, Pickens, and Sutton, right? And then Wandale's your flex, who he's benefited from the Malik Neighbors injury, whether we want to admit it or not, he has. So I like the team that you have now currently more than if you traded Tracy for Addison.
if anything, I might see if maybe a guy like Sharps can fetch me something back at wide receiver, even if it's small. Like
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. Like just give me something.
Yeah.
Zach says he lives in the heart of Patriot country, and they're talking about them being interested in a running back like Jerome Ford. So definitely a serviceable guy, someone that can trust. That would be interesting, but man, it would be absolutely brutal for that running back room. Like, what would you even do?
I already asked myself that question on the daily, right? I have, I think, Travion in one spot, and I'm still sitting there, and I'm like, what do I do? Like,
Yeah,
it's very similar to what we had with the Browns originally, when Chubb was there and Ford was there, and we didn't really know. And then we didn't know what was happening with Quinshawn. Well, then Chubb goes to Houston. Jerome Ford's the only one left, so you play him. But then you're still sitting there like, this doesn't feel great.
it does not. So it'll be interesting to see, Zach. But the citizen, Tyler, just sent us the super chat.
Ooh.
We appreciate the citizen here. He says, was offered Marks and Butte for DK in a PPR league. Tyler, are you interested in this deal? I mean, we're talking about two guys that are fringe starts or flexes on a weekly basis. Unless this is some super deep league where it's like a 14-man, 16-man, and you need as much bodies as you can get, I'm keeping DK, to be honest.
Yeah. We talked about it earlier. Butte's had, I think 3 good weeks in a row, but Marks is hit or miss. I think I had to play him out of desperation last week, and luckily he didn't kill me.
Yeah.
But really, both of those guys, like, yes, if you're hurting that bad, I get it. But you keep, especially in redraft, you want to keep the best player in the deal. And in this deal, it's undoubtedly DK. So I think you just keep DK there.
Yeah, I mean, even with DK struggles, his point totals are pretty similar to Butte. I mean, of course, he had the 1 week where he scored 2 touchdowns and he had 23 points. So, like, that's a fantastic week. No way around that. But it's a lot of bets on a wide receiver that hasn't necessarily proven it. Now, granted, a couple years ago, we were doing the exact same thing with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he arose to the occasion, and here we are talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown as a top 5 wide receiver. So, could Butte do it? Absolutely, he could. Do I think he will? Probably not. And you mentioned Woody Marks and his inconsistencies. I mean, he has the 1 week where he scored 25 points, and he followed that week up with a 2.4 game, 7 carries, 24 yards, no catches. This past week, 13 points. He had 11 carries for 62 yards, 4 catches, 49 yards. A lot of those came on one play. He had a 50-yard catch. So I like Marks. I think he's inside of my top 24 this week. I think I have him at 23 maybe. I can't remember exactly. But either way, I think he's great, but I wouldn't bet on him to be a guy I want to play each week. DK is a guy you put in your lineup, you play each week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Tyler, you got our spot, or do I need to go find it?
I sure do. We're right here with Kane.
What we got, Kane? So I traded McConkey, Kraft, and K9 for Jamar Chase. Thoughts? I had Gadsden, which in my opinion made me selling Ladin Kraft a little bit of an easier decision. I think the argument would be that you probably overpaid just based on volume of players. Did you get the best player in the deal? 100% you did. So there's no question about you getting the best player in the deal. Is it an overpay? I think a lot of that is going to depend on what your roster looks like, Kane. So if you're now down, like if K9 was, say your 3rd or 4th running back, I care less about it. If he was your 2nd running back, this hurts. If McConkey was your top 2 wide receivers, obviously you're replacing him with Jamar and you've got Gadsden, so you're making the bet there. I don't necessarily hate it, but I think it would depend on your roster construction of if I would do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think this is probably based off the fact that Joe Flacco gave Jamar Chase an ungodly amount of targets in the last 3 weeks. I think it's like 54 or something like that. Like he's averaging like 17, 18 targets a game. Like it's insane. So still though, like McConkey's been good. Kraft is the tight end 1, which people have slept on Kraft. And I'm not like aggravated about it when I say this, but like I'm getting tired of the disrespect. Okay. Like people are like, Kraft is not like, he's very boom bust. And I'm like, is he though? Because he's the tight end 1 and he still seems to be their number 1 option pretty much every week. Like,
because he is. He is.
I mean, the dude is like, if you look at his numbers, his yards after catch per reception is ridiculous. Every time he catches the ball, he's almost getting you at least 2 to 3 points. Like, and he catches the ball at least 4 or 5 times in a game, so that's a good floor. If he scores and he breaks a big touchdown, you're looking at
does a lot.
huge. Yeah, you're looking at huge games, man. Like it's insane to me how people are just kind of writing him off.
I mean, week one, we have a dynasty league together where I had McBride, Kraft, and Dalton Kincaid. I think I can't remember the other one. I've got 3 tight ends. It's luxury. I was trying to trade Kraft, and I couldn't get anyone to give me a first round pick. No one wanted him, and I was trying to sell him, and I nicknamed him "Keep Sleeping," and here we are. And now a lot of people want him, but I'm not moving him. But real quick, Tyler, I want to come back to the citizen if he's still here. He did some super chat, and he added some context here. It's a 12-man. I have CD, Puka, and Johnson. My running backs are Dobbins and Bam Knight. So moving Marks, I care a little bit less about, to be honest. I get it. Like, you'd be starting him, but I don't know.
Dobbins has been good this year. Dobbins has been really good.
If you go pull metrics on everything, Dobbins is one of those guys that's top 5 or top 10 in literally every metric, like every single one. So he's been slept on a lot this season, but we'll carry on. Danny says, if I package Kittle and Vidal for a running back or a wide receiver, who should he target, Tyler?
Kittle and Vidal. Okay, so you're packaging a top 4, 5 tight end. Vidal, you're shipping opportunity at this point until Amarian comes back. I mean, if you're going after a running back or a wide receiver, you're probably going to go around the Derrick Henry range again. I mean, I think that's probably where you end up landing. You're not getting JT. You're not getting any of the top guys. I don't even think you're getting James Cook after last week. Maybe the Josh Jacobs type who hasn't, had
Jacobs is the name I was going to say. Maybe Genty.
Yeah, maybe Genty. Yeah, I mean, you could probably go there. I would kick the tires just to see. I would see if you could do Achane. I don't think it's possible, but after this last week, I was listening. So I watched the Fantasy Footballers. Shout out, by the way. I was watching them. They brought up a stat that I found really interesting. Devon Achane is the only running back to finish within the top 17 every week of this year, and that's because of Bijan and CMC having a dud game last week. And we look at the Dolphins' offense and we're like, they're terrible. But Achane is their life raft. He is carrying them on offense currently.
100%. And I think another name I'd look into is Kyron Williams. Might be a little difficult, the name value. It just depends on the leagues. Like, some leagues hate him. Some leagues are really high on him. The rushing touchdowns aren't there. He only has 2 on the season, so I think that number is going to go up. But the passing volume it's wild to me. I mean, he's top 10 in routes run, top 10 in targets, top 10 catches. Like, he's doing all the things you want him to do as a running back. So I like him a lot. I would be looking into him. Let's think about wide receivers just for a second here before we move on, Tyler. Probably thinking about maybe a guy like Waddle, maybe Metcalf.
Waddle, Metcalf, Sutton. Anybody in
Nico
that
Collins? Could you get Nico Collins, who's been out and injured?
Maybe because of the injury, maybe. And then they've already had their bye too, right? Didn't they have it in week 6? Yeah. So, I mean, that would be huge too. These are the times where you start looking at, okay, who's had their bye, who hasn't had their bye yet. That can just give you a little bit of an advantage as far as looking at trade partners, because you can skip a bye week there.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, that's a great little shout out there too. So I'm with you there, Tyler. But I think there's some interesting names there. So, Danny, if you need some help, let us know. We are happy to help you. Join the Discord. It's free. You can throw your questions in there too, and we will absolutely answer those. But we'll continue to carry on, guys. We've got 34 watching. We appreciate you all for being here. If you wouldn't mind, hit that like button. It helps us out a ton. We've only got 18 so far. I'd love to get that over to 20. But let's carry on, Tyler, with Kane's question. Says, I'm left with starting Spears, Harvey, Marks at RB2 right now, though. Okay, so this goes off that last question. I missed this part. I'm sorry, Kane. I feel a little bit better about that deal, to be honest. I like Spears. Harvey's getting a little bit more involved. I think Harvey and Marks are basically the same thing.
Yeah. At this point, I think Marks is probably just a smidge ahead just because I've seen a little bit more. RJ Harvey, while he had an explosive week last week, he's not really shown much the rest of the year. So I would still probably, go Spears, Marks, Harvey in that order. But I mean, I like the trade a lot better with that, right? Like,
I get it. Well, Tyler, we're about 30 minutes behind, so let's hit a few of these pretty
let's
quick.
do it.
If you're still here, we'll catch up with the people at the end. So we appreciate you, everyone, for holding on. Tony says, even and I have to sit one DK Tet or ETN Tyler. I'm gonna sit ETN. Pending the quarterback news for the Carolina Panthers. So.
I'm gonna set Tet regardless. That's just because they're playing Green Bay. I don't care. I think Micah Parsons is gonna have a field day, and I'm gonna sit Tet. So
I get it. I totally get it. Trone, we appreciate you as always. You're always in here. Says, I have Scary Terry, and he just got re-injured. Trust me, buddy. I know. Picked up Bam, then traded him and Fannin from my bench for Debo, so I can keep my JD5 stack. I like that a lot. I do.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
You're trading Fannin on by. Njoku's back. Bam, he's got opportunity, but even me and Matt agreed we don't really trust the backfield there. So I like it.
And Debo's been really involved with Terry being out. I get he had the bad game against Chicago, missed the game against Dallas this past week against Kansas City, was just terrible for 100 different reasons, and I don't have the time to talk about it. James Hernandez says Dak, Caleb, or Kyler Murray. I have Jefferson, so Addison or Hunter at the flex. Let's start with these quarterbacks, Tyler. Dak or Caleb or Murray for you?
I was going to look at matchups. I think I'm going Dak. I'm pretty sure
Dak plays Atlanta. May plays Atlanta. Dak plays Arizona, and then Caleb plays Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm going. So you've either got either side of the coin in the Dallas and Arizona game. I'm going Dak there. Caleb playing against Cincinnati could be good. Man, that's tough. I'm rolling with Dak. I think that's just too explosive of an offense. I want pieces of that.
That's what I'm doing too. I mean, I don't know how you bench him, but he does add Tyler Addison or Hunter at the flex. Obviously, Hunter has the big week we just talked about. Addison is a little bit more difficult to predict, but he's played well. It's worth noting. If the quarterback play can improve, he's going to be a much better player. I think I'm going to ride the Lightning and go with Travis Hunter.
I would go with Travis Hunter as well. You already having Justin Jefferson. I hate having to double stack teams like that if I don't have to.
Especially with that offense right now. If it was last year, I get it, but not with what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Tron says need 2 wide receivers in a flex PPR. Nico, Debo, Travis Hunter, Jalen Warren, Olave with a rookie quarterback, and Tyler Shuck. So my 2 wide receivers are going to be Nico, assuming he plays, Debo, with my flex as Jalen Warren and Travis Hunter are so difficult.
Pittsburgh plays Indy.
Yeah. Travis Hunter, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to go Nico, Olave, and Travis Hunter.
I
do like Debo.
Olave.
Yeah. I do like, Nico being there. Obviously, if he plays, I like Debo as well, but that offense is struggling, especially with Jaden Daniels being out. Any injury info on him, Matt? Is he back this week? Do we know?
Nico?
No, Jaden Daniels. Sorry.
Oh, Jaden Daniels. Yeah, he's expected to play. So
okay. I'd be more apt to playing Debo if Jaden Daniels plays, but if Marcus Mariota plays, I'm not doing it. But I'd go Nico, Olave, and then Travis Hunter. I know it's a rookie quarterback in Shuck, but they do one of two things. They either just check it down all the time or they target their star. Guess who their star is? Chris Olave. So that's where I'm going.
And Shuck had 30 attempts last week and only 50% of the snaps. So he can throw it. He's spanning at Louisville. I know a lot of people are going to joke about what he did, but I think Shuck can be better than a lot of people think. I do. I'll say it.
I think he could at least be Rattler.
Yeah, exactly. Eric says pick 2 running backs: Chuba, Sharps, Harvey, Bam, or Brashad Smith. I'm going to go with Chuba and Harvey. I like Harvey this week. I talked a little bit about that in my video, so go check it out.
I'll go Chuba for sure. Oh, man, it's a toss-up, really. I like Brashard Smith a lot. Like we talked about him getting the carries earlier between him and Kareem Hunt. So that's probably where I would go as my second one.
Okay. John B says thoughts on Woody Marks. I like Woody Marks this week. I think he's going to be a solid player. I have him in my top 24, but rest of the season, I'm not a big fan personally. I think he's going to be just a little bit capped.
Yeah, I agree. I wish he would get a little more rain. Like they don't really give him the whole workload. They still want Nick Chubb involved, and probably because they did that with Joe Mixon last year, and look where he ended up. So. Who knows? I like Woody Marks. Like you said, rest of the season's just a little iffy.
Yeah. Persona NYC says, who would you start between Doodle, a.k.a. Dowdle, and Marks this week? I'm going to go with Mr. Doodle.
Yeah, I'll go with Mr. Doodle as well. Man, why didn't we come up with that in high school? Jeez.
I know. That's what we should have done. Rico Doodle. Tron Force says, I have Barkley, and surprisingly, I was able to pick up Bixby off waivers with the 12th priority. I'm going to hold him even if Barkley is healthy. Probably a good move. I mean, just keep him if you can. If it comes to a desperation spot like we were talking earlier and you need to drop someone, drop him. You got to do what you got to do to win.
Yep, I agree.
Bryce, the Baltimore Raven himself, says, trade Sutton for Ladd, full PPR, Tyler.
I'm trending. Yeah, I'd probably do it. I mean, I like the offense of the Chargers. Like we said, they're passing it, way over expectation. They've got a good running games coming up here. I'd probably take Ladd.
Tough start to the season for Ladd, but he's followed it up with 4 back-to-back double-digit games. Cortland Sutton, on the other hand, staying involved, multiple games of over 10 targets in the last 4 weeks, and those were the games where he performed well. The other 2 games, he basically disappeared. So I'm going to go with Ladd, but I think it's close. I mean, it's really dang close. Jeff Rogers says, flex Troy Franklin, Butte, or Kareem Hunt, full PPR. If Kareem Hunt is going to be the guy and Pacheco's out, I would start Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm probably going to go Butte, I think.
Yeah, I probably would. That's a dart throw for the Broncos. It could be Pat Bryant. It could be Marvin Mims, whatever. I would play Kareem Hunt there.
Yeah. Jeff Rogers asked what defense he should play, Tyler. Rams defense or Packers defense. If you're unfamiliar, Jeff, we have a defense guy in our channel here at Face Off, Mr. Pete Nova. We follow his rankings when we are asked defensive questions, and he has the Rams as the top defense on the week. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yep. Although we did say that good old Michael Parsons is probably going to eat healthy this week too. So I don't think
Green Bay's at 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you really have an issue either way.
Groundster says, yo, fellas. Chris, you've been absent. I haven't heard from you in forever. Where you been, brother? Happy Days says, I have the best team I've ever had, and I'm 3-5. That happens, man. But don't give up, man. You got to stay the course.
Keep playing it.
Keep playing it. Tyler knows I won that thing last year 1-5. So you never give up. You got to keep rolling. Jeff Rogers, again, asked Tyler, should I drop Jordan Mason? Probably not.
For Trey Benson. That was the
for Trey Benson. No,
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I would hold him. Happy Days says, is Genty a fair offer for Drake May, Tyler?
No, not currently. I mean, honestly, like Drake May's playing out of his mind. I don't. If you can get him for Genty, sure, go ahead. But I doubt anybody's going to actually do that.
I'm kind of on the opposite side. Like, I don't think I would do this either way. If I had Drake May, I probably would hold May. If I'm trying to get Drake May, I'd probably hold Genty. It depends on your running backs, obviously. But I have a hard time trading 4 quarterbacks just because you can usually get a guy off the waivers and kind of stream as we get further down to the season's end. And again, like you said, Drake May, he's currently the quarterback too, playing fantastic overall. I mean, tons of touchdowns. I mean, he's got 15 touchdowns on the season. And last year he had 15 total. So he's spinning it right now, throwing it all over the place. I do think that it's going to get a little bit tougher for him as he goes down. I mean, but we'll have to see. His playoff schedule is at least juicy. Yeah. Takes on Baltimore and Buffalo, Miami at the end if you're a Week 18 guy. Week 17 against the Jets. We'll see what happens with the Jets. They're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we answered this. Do you think DK
We did.
for Rico?
I think it was piggybacked off of the other question.
So DK for Rico and Butte is a better trade, Tyler. Do you think?
I mean, I think it's better.
I'd still hold DK.
I'd still hold DK with that. I mean, really and truthfully, unless you're giving me somebody of equal value to DK plus something else, I'm probably not doing it.
Yeah, totally agree. Jacob says he's 7-1, 12-man PPR with Mahomes and Dak at quarterback. Hell yeah. Saquon, JT, and Javante with Harvey Benson at running back. My word, I see why you're 7-1. Ibuka, Waddle, DJ Moore at wide receiver with Kelsey and Gadsden at tight end. Should I do Dak, Javante, and Moore for Jefferson and DK? Ooh. It's interesting. I mean, you've got Mahomes, so you don't necessarily need Dak. I mean, oh my gosh. Dak's bye is week 10, so let's have the Chiefs had their bye. No, they're week 12.
No,
they're week 10 as well. So doesn't matter. You're going to have to deal with the bye and stream someone at some point. You need the wide receiver help for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson and DK are immediate help. The running backs would still be JT and Saquon.
I mean, I think honestly, if you do it, or if you can, I think you do it. The more I look at it, like I wish we could know what like Saquon's health is going to be. Right now, obviously, you're going to have to play. You're probably playing JT and Harvey this week if that's the case. Like if you make this trade before Sunday, because you're going to have Javante gone, Saquon's on bye or injured currently. So I'd probably still do it because you need the wide receiver help, but just kind of you're going to have to play waivers pretty close probably.
Yeah. Man, that's a heck of a deal, Jacob. That'd be huge for your team. Metro Boomin, Tyler says, would y'all drop White for Benson? I would not.
No, not right now.
Did we hit this part with Avi's question? We did.
Yes, we did.
David says, start Travis Hunter. I would. I mean, I guess it depends on your options. I think Tyler would too, but depends on who you have. Tree Hugging Hunter, Tyler says, best picks off waiver. Roman Wilson, Bigsby, Sampson, Alec Pierce, Troy Franklin might also be available. Any of these names intrigue you?
Bigsby is entertaining, especially with the Saquon injury. As of right now, I would probably take Pierce over Troy Franklin. That's just personal preference.
I'd take both over Roman Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely Roman Wilson. I'm not really concerned about until he puts more on tape. So I'd say probably Bigsby and then Pierce would be entertaining for me. If Troy Franklin's there, I might, but I would be between Bigsby and Pierce. Pierce playing this week and Bigsby being on bye would make me want to go Pierce though.
Yeah. In says no Judkins this week. Need an RB2. Tracy or Vidal. I have them back to back in my rankings. Vidal at 15, Tracy at 16. So I'm going to go Vidal, but I think it's one half dozen the other.
I was about to say they've got to be close in your rankings. So I would go Vidal. Yeah.
Yeah. Kobe Tyler says, what's up, boys? Have running backs Gibbs, Brown, Marks. Wide receivers are Dunze, Higgins, Smith, BTJ. Should I trade BTJ for Etienne and Dowdle? Or is it Etienne or Dowdle? I would hold BTJ over Dowdle. I'd hold BTJ over Etienne. Would I trade it for the package? Probably not. I think you can get better.
Yeah, I just think a lot of people are down on BTJ currently. But the issue here though is you know, you've got a Dunze and Higgins. Yeah, that's great, but Devontae's kind of boom bust right now. So you're really trading away a stable, at least flex piece. If it's 3 wide receivers, you're trading away a good third.
Yeah.
So I would probably hold BTJ.
I would hold too. Jared says PPR redraft. I'm 5-2-1. I love a good tie. That's hilarious to me. Thoughts: Dak, Murray, Cook, Vidal, Henderson, Mason, Monty, DK, and Chase. He has a little bit more here, so let's switch to this one. Chase, Waddle, Cup, Franklin, McBride, Myers, Chiefs, and Denver defense. Tyler, how are you feeling about Jared's team here?
I like it. I feel like our running backs are kind of iffy depending. I mean, Monty's been okay, nothing crazy. James Cook's carrying you currently, and Vidal's got the opportunity. I mean, I like the team overall, really. I mean, you can have an elite tight end. You've got a good kicker. The defenses, are pretty good as well. So, and then your wide receivers too. Like, let's not skip over DK and Chase being there either. So, I like the team a lot. I mean, and you got Waddle as well to play as a flex. So, yeah, I like the team a lot, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team you're just hoping that Vidal just keeps that role for as long as
Yeah.
possible. And I do think there's a good chance that Hampton doesn't come back until after the bye. That's kind of where my gut
Oh
is
yeah,
right now.
yeah, and that's week 12. I mean, that's a ways away. So
Lots of time. You could move them between now and then too. DIC says Jags or Colts defense this week. Pete says start the Jags, so I'm going to go with the Jags. Bob Hope says, what about trading Keenan for Ferguson? Would that be good, Tyler?
Yeah, I would go get Ferg if I had the chance.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm fine with getting Ferguson. Harry Ramos says, need some help. Someone wants to trade Amon-Ra St. Brown for Cook or Henry and Allen or Addison. I have B-Rob, Jason Taylor, I think we mean Mason Taylor, as my main. No, I'm so confused. As my main running backs, and Allen, DJ. Let's just go with the trade because I'm confused. Henry. I think we cleared it up here. Nope, same question. So,
Okay.
Tyler, would you trade Amon-Ra St. Brown for Cook or Henry and Allen or Addison? If I'm moving a package, I'm keeping Cook. I'm moving Henry, and I'm moving Allen. But
yeah, I would agree, but I'm still holding Amon-Ra for that price.
All that to say, don't move him.
Yeah.
I think he's an easy hold. Slap that like. I agree. And we appreciate everyone. And we appreciate you, Hoff.
Absolutely.
If you haven't, go check out Tyler's tight end video. It's fire. And so is the thumbnail.
Shout out Hoff.
Yeah. Oh, the pizza man himself, Tyler, says Gadsden or Bowers rest the season.
Bowers. I love me some Gadsden. I do. I would love for nothing more than him to be a thing the rest of the year and his entire career. But Brock Bowers is just a different beast, dude. He is insane. I know the Raiders offense hasn't looked the best. That's because they've been missing their best weapon. So, I mean, I would take Bowers just about every day of the week.
I think that's so true, man. I want it to be Gadsden. Like, it's fun to say Gadsden.
Yes.
If we got some information about the injury for Bowers, that might impact my choice here. But I'm going to stick with Gadsden.
You mean Bowers?
Bowers. Let's continue on with Marco says must-win game to make the playoffs. So we got to get this right. Flex spot: Bowers, Sharps, Dowdle, Shakir. Woof.
Oh God.
Way to put the pressure on us, Marco. But that being said, that's fine. Is Bowers practicing? I mean, I expect him to practice fully today. So I expect him to be back. Takes on Jacksonville. Let's look at Jacksonville real quick here.
They're like 17th against tight ends, if that's what you're looking at.
Yep, they're right there in the middle. So, oof. I'm going to start Bowers. He's the best player. I think you have to play him. I get Dowdle says he's going to get some more carries from Danny Canales. You know what I mean? David Canales. I think he's the better player. Sharbs is not someone I'm looking to put in my lineup. Shakir is not consistent enough.
No, I agree. I think at this point you just put Bowers in. I've actually on some of my posts and stuff. I post on Reddit every week whenever I do my videos and stuff, and I've had a lot of people this week coming back and being like, "I'm starting Kraft and Tyler Warren or whatever." Like they have two like elite tight ends, and I'm like, I typically don't recommend that, but if you've got those two, you might as well. I mean, they're probably going to be the best option you have.
Totally agree. Grunster says if you're contender, check in on Hampton, AJ Brown, and the London managers. Yeah, I totally agree. Those are big players you should go get. Thank you for the love, Hoff. We appreciate you. Pat says Hunt, DJ Moore, Spears, Gadsden, Tucker, Dobbs. who gets the 2 flex spots that are available, Tyler? I'm going to go with DJ Moore and Gadsden. If no Pacheco, Hunt and Gadsden. Do you bench DJ Moore for Gadsden?
I probably I want to.
I think I would. I mean, DJ
I
Moore
want to. That's for
has
sure.
been out there a ton, not playing that great. I mean, last week 4 catches, 73 yards. He's not getting in the end zone. He's back in that old Carolina form. Caleb Williams has been struggling. So yeah, I'm going to go with DJ Moore and Gadsden. If Hunt is by himself and there's no Pacheco, I would start Hunt and Gadsden.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I expect the biggest beneficiary of the matchup with Cincinnati to be Rome at that point, or Colston Loveland if Komet is out as well. So I think that'll be where you get it instead of DJ. So I would go Hunt and Gadsden most likely.
Yeah. Will Tyler says, I was just offered Dart Hall for my Baker CD. 2 quarterback league, 3 wide receiver, half PPR. Other quarterback is Dak and no one else. So we got to keep a quarterback on the roster. Wide receivers, Nico, Egbuka, Olave. The running backs are Chase Brown, Bill. Thank you for the vomit emotion. Judkins and Isaiah Rogers. Tyler, are you interested in moving Baker for Dart and Hall?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Hall's coming off his best week of the season by far.
Yeah, and you have Dak with CD. I'm probably just holding Baker and CD. I know Baker hasn't looked great, and you're going to be missing, a quarterback this week in Baker. But I mean, Nico, Egbuka, Olave, and CD as your wide receivers, that just sounds nasty. So I'd probably just keep that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. I would hold.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Jackson Dart has played well. Brees is coming off a great game, but CD is just
CD's been incredible, and then Baker's playing really well too with a demolished lineup, like injuries all over the place.
Completely demolished. He's only looked really like human as a quarterback the last 2 weeks. Honestly, let's be dead serious. The start of the season, he was without Chris Godwin. He's without Mike Evans, and at one point he was without Egbuka, and they still just carried on like it was nothing.
Lost Bucky. lost Bucky several pieces on that offensive line. Like that's the part no one's talking about. Is that offensive line has been hurt too.
Yes, exactly.
So I would hold.
And
Bill's going to be better. He's going to be an MVP to finish the year. I feel it in my bones. At least I hope.
I think you meant to say JT.
Oh, sure.
Ooh.
Sure. Tyler loves the hat. Nothing but respect for Danny Dimes. He's a believer. I'm not sure if you know this, but Tyler is a Daniel Jones believer too. If you missed our apology a couple weeks ago, you should check it out. It's great content.
I did. I had to do it. It just, you don't get to be the number 1 seed in the AFC for no reason. So
That's right. Coach says, "What's up, fellas? Coach, we appreciate you. We miss you as always, but we know you're doing your thing. So go out there and keep coaching." Tyler, we're officially caught up on the chat. We've hit the hour mark. Let's I said we dip out of here early. We carry on with our week. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Be sure to check out Tyler's tight end video. It is live now. You can check out his top 24, his streamers. My running back video is out there. Any and all love, likes, we appreciate on those as well. We love doing this every single week. We will catch you next Wednesday in our next show. But until next time, we'll see you in the comments.